We have a Kenmore 80 series gas dryer here that does not heat up anymore, and try the close off. When you open up the front lid, you can find a small little sign identifying the model number of your Kenmore dryer in the upper left corner. So in front of the unit you find a small little peephole right below the opening. Take the plastic cap off and then you look inside. Here in this case you can see the paddle light is coming on, but it never ignites, so the flame never starts. So that's a clear indication. It looks like the solenoids for turning the gas on are not working. So I'm starting this project by unplugging the power cord from the wall, just for safety precaution. Other causes for not getting your clothes properly dried could be this blower channel in the back. So as part of regular maintenance, like you open it up, you can see there's a lot of lint that collects at this little frame. And also on the inside, this little channel was completely clogged out on my dryer. I'm installing this project by removing the lint screen. And I take a Phillips head screwdriver, take out those two screws that hold the air duct to the top lid. Make sure you keep all those screws together, so as you have to reassemble the unit afterwards again. Use a flat metal device, just like a flathead screwdriver, to pull up the lid from the main panel. There's a little clamps that come up. Next to this, we're going to take the front cover off. I'm using here a little hex driver, 5/16 socket, to take them out on both sides. You would also follow exactly the same steps if you take the drum belt off, or if you replace the drum belt. I had to already do this twice on this machine. Don't forget to take off the lid switch. Has a little plastic latching mechanism, and you may need a screwdriver to pop it out. In order to take the front cover off, you move it slightly towards you, and then you lift it out. There's little hooks on the bottom, and you have to make sure it gets out of the hooks and it clears the drum. We're looking at the bottom right now below the drum. Need to get the belt off from the belt tensioner, and I'm using the screwdriver to help me pop it off the little wheel. That's right there. In order to get the drum out, I use the belt as my handle and have to wiggle it out of the frame. You may have to slide it out a little bit and then carefully move it out. So here are my replacement parts that I ordered on eBay for less than $15. It's a new belt and the two solenoids. So we're looking back into the dryer, bottom left. So that's the heater circuit here. I'm taking off the wires from the solenoids. Then use a Phillips head screwdriver. Take this little bracket off that holds the two solenoids in place. Taking the first solenoid off. This one is slightly bigger than the other one. It has 3 wires on the connector. That's how you can differentiate them. Just make sure you put the new ones in the exact same position again. The second one is slightly smaller and only has 2 pins, and the connector thing is the 2 wires only. When you put the bracket back on, take a look, there's little indexes on top of the solenoids. that then match up exactly with the holes on the bracket, and then use the reverse instructions and putting the screws back in with the Phillips head screwdriver. Next, we're going to reinstall the drum. This may take a little bit more time as everything has to line up properly. Use the belt to put the drum in place so it lines up with the circular guide on the rear panel. And then make sure you straighten out the fabric seam at the end of the drum. So inside the unit you need to place the belt tensioner in the bottom mounting holes with the orientation shown. So in order to get the belt hooked in, push the tensioner to the right to allow for a straight connection of the belt to the motor heel, and then make sure the belt matches the image here. So another delicate step is then to mount the front panel, as you need to hook it in the bottom first. The drum has to be lined up with the door frame guide. You may want to use your foot on the bottom if you're by yourself and then angle it in. But it's a lot easier if you have somebody else help you with the bottom connection. So you probably want to rotate the drum just to make sure everything is lined up before you start putting the screws back, so there's no interference anywhere. And you also want to make sure you check the fabric strip, so make sure all around the edges that there's no kink anywhere. And when everything's good, you put the hex nuts back in to mount the front panel. Don't forget to reconnect the door switch before we put the lid back down. Now that we're ready to close the unit back up, put the lid down until the plastic latches snap in. We're going to reconnect the lens screen then with a Phillips head screwdriver. The holes from the channel should line up, but you may have to move it around with your hand. So now the lens screen should just slide in without any interference. Now I'm gonna check if this fixed the heating problem. So the pilot light should come on, and then you should hear a small click, and that the gas ignites the heater of the channel. So it looks like changing the solenoid actually fixed my dryer problem. So here's a quick update. Actually, after the first week, I had to repair the unit again because one of the solenoids had burned up, as you can see in the picture. This time I ordered another one from Sears directly instead of buying an aftermarket part on eBay. So it was slightly more expensive, but it has held up so far.